Hello.
Welcome, Michael. How are you?
Hello, Alicia. Sorry, I'm in the car. Is the connection, does it look all right and sound all right? I'm afraid
Yes,
it's a little
yes,
bit
yes, yes.
special this morning. And
I will be
I will
displaying,
have to con
yeah, I will be displaying
uh-huh.
your slides, I guess. It's fine.
Lovely, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Perfect.
And after my presentation, I will have to resume my journey, I'm afraid, but I can continue to be connected just via voice. I'll switch off the video then if
Okay,
that's okay.
sure.
Thanks for your understanding.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone. We are just waiting that people start to join the webinar, and then we will start in 1 minute. But yeah, we are already a group.
Morning.
Morning, everyone. So maybe just to not run late, we are going to start, and then people will join. Yeah, people are joining. So welcome, everyone. My name is Alicia Gavan Barrio. I work for EARLALL, that is the European Association for Regional and Local Authorities for Lifelong Learning. We are the ones who are organizing this webinar promoted by our working group on skills and labor market. Today we are going to discuss about the tourism sector skills analysis. I kindly ask you to mute yourself so the webinar runs smoothly. The webinar is being recorded. You can write questions in the chat during the discussion. As we don't know if we will have enough time to raise all of them, but you can write your questions in the chat and the speakers will reply as well live. I'm happy today to be with a large range of speakers, and I would like to give the floor first to our chair and moderator of today's session, that is Teresa Escriche from the Regional Ministry of Education of Catalonia, and which is actually chairing our working group, which is organizing this event. So, Teresa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Alicia. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tourism Sector Skills Analysis webinar that focuses on understanding skills, challenges, and opportunities in the tourism sector across European regions. This webinar will bring together tourism and lifelong learning experts to explore the skills, challenges, and opportunities facing the sector today. The discussion will highlight local and regional initiatives that support workforce development, ranging from vocational education and training to lifelong learning, and showcase innovative examples from across Europe, whether focused on hospitality, cultural tourism, digital platforms, or ecotourism. All parts of the sector have a role to play in shaping a tourism workforce that is agile, inclusive, and equipped for the future. First of all, it's my pleasure to introduce Elfa Kerr. Elfa is a tourism policy officer at the European Commission's Directorate General for Transport and Mobility. Elfa, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Teresa. I hope you can hear me. Good morning to everybody. I'd like to thank, first of all, EARLALL for inviting me today to this very important webinar. So if you start with my first slide, please. Thank you. there is fine. This morning, I'd like to present a kind of global, European at least, snapshot of where the tourism ecosystem is, and then do a bit of focus on workforce and skills. And finally, say a few words about our upcoming new EU tourism strategy. So, giving kind of an EU level perspective on tourism and skills. Right. So to start with some figures to set the scenes, you may know already, of course, that tourism and hospitality include over 4.5 million enterprises, the vast majority being SMEs and micro enterprises. The sector employs about 20 million people, almost 10% of EU employment overall. Now, shortages in the industry can range from moderate to severe, kind of depending on the type of job and the destination. And last year, we estimated that there could be up to 1 million jobs that remain unfilled in the hospitality sector specifically. So, just to say, in the EU context, tourism is one of the 14 industrial ecosystems that was identified in the 2021 industrial strategy, and it was the first to develop a transition pathway to support the green and digital transitions and support, of course, the resilience of the sector as well. And resilience is covering skills and employment. This is our roadmap as up until now for our policy, along with the EU Agenda for Tourism 2030, which was Council conclusion supported by member states back in 2022. On funding, we do have quite a lot of money available to support various projects and programs in tourism at destination level as well, at SME level. But these are spread out among about 17 different programs. So there's not one budget line currently for tourism in the EU. But we're hoping in the future to streamline access to this funding for SMEs in particular. Next slide, please. Yes, these are very recent figures, just to highlight that the recovery of the sector itself has been more or less confirmed in most regions. I want to emphasize in terms of nights spent in tourism accommodation establishments, these have been increasing. So there was a peak last year in the third quarter, and we expect to reach the same peak or even higher in the third quarter of this year. So the first half of this year marks a new record with 1.3 billion nights spent. This equals an additional 30 million nights as compared to last year. So it looks like this year we will actually exceed the records of nights spent in hotels. That being said, increasing numbers of visitors requires more workers to accommodate, and this steady increase that has happened since COVID, basically. Next slide, please. So coming to the tourism workforce, I just wanted to highlight a few interesting aspects. We know that there are just a bit more female workers than male workers in travel, with the highest proportions in travel agencies and tour operators, but the women workers tend to be more in lower skilled and administrative roles, while men are often more employed as managers, but this is the case in many industrial ecosystems in the EU, of course. We have more young people employed in tourism jobs, often as their very first job, their very first entry into the market, which of course has an impact on skills overall and the need to maybe train possibly from scratch as soon as the person enters the workforce. So you can see from this graph that the highest number of people employed are in tourism are in Malta, Greece, and Portugal. Next slide, please. Now, when it comes to labor shortages, this is an unofficial, not yet formally published study from Booking.com. In fact, recent data suggesting in the accommodation sector that the types of occupations in demand at EU level and in a selected number of member states are in housekeeping, food and beverage, and front office. So in fact, this study found that it's not that difficult to find people to fill these top three positions, but in fact, the hardest to fill are managerial positions. So I will come to that when it comes to future occupational profiles. Next slide, please. So, what are we doing at EU level on skills? I am sure that many of you are familiar with the EU Pact for Skills initiative and the large scale partnership for tourism that has been established since 2022. We have over 100 members that meet on a monthly basis to share best practices, to share project outcomes and results, and also to inform about training opportunities. I know that EARLALL is actually a member of the Pact for Skills, so this is great. We have a lot of vet providers. We have regions. We have regions from Italy, Spain, Greece, Portugal, the biggest tourism, let's say, member states. But we are open to having more members, of course. So I encourage you to check out the links on this slide here and see how you can join if you are interested. Um, Last year completed the European Year of Skills, which was considered rather successful to raise awareness about the need for skills. And a lot of the actions there have translated into the Union of Skills, which was, of course, launched by the President von der Leyen this year, earlier in March. Last year, we also published an action plan on labor and skills shortages in the EU. There's a bit on tourism there, not much, I must admit, but it's a general action plan for all workforce sectors. And for tourism, we also did a year-long jobs and skills awareness raising campaign for tourism. This was targeted to both employers and employees, and all of the material is still available on our website on the link there. Then just to mention some of the projects that are funded under Erasmus Plus that are either ongoing or completed, these have really produced valuable results on identifying skills gaps, skills intelligence, and they provide also training on the ground to fill those gaps. So um, some of these projects have found that the most in-demand skills are still digital skills, so artificial intelligence, big data, cloud computing, robotics, etc. And these will be critical in the future for the EU tourism sector. But we cannot also forget the development of new occupational profiles needed for the green transition. So, for example, waste management skills, sustainability managers, also vegan chefs, etc. And finally, soft skills will remain crucial because we are a people-facing sector. And so we need the skills like conflict resolution, knowledge of foreign languages, people management, etc. And I think this is particularly important in the face of the growing use of artificial intelligence because we need a workforce with people skills that AI can't provide. So these projects all have a major impact on upskilling and reskilling the tourism workforce. Next slide, please. Right. So I just wanted to identify some additional challenges, not just skills, that we are facing. We're kind of looking now towards the future. What do we want for the future of EU tourism? Do we want something depicted on the left or the right, or maybe something in between? We are all familiar with the protests last summer of residents in some countries, island regions as well, where we know that local residents can be negatively impacted. But on the other hand, there are certain regions or destinations that would like to benefit from additional tourism. So we need this visitor residence balance. And so we want to kind of reinforce a positive narrative that will show the potential for destinations. So paying particular attention to remote and rural areas to improve connectivity, infrastructure, and also help to address demographic challenges. I won't mention climate change too much and extreme weather events, but these are things that are all impacting tourism, and we need to really strengthen the resilience and also the competitiveness of the sector because we do have global competition from other parts of the world, and we want to ensure that Europe remains the #1 destination in the world and also promote lesser known destinations. Next slide, please. So what are we doing about this? As you may know, Commissioner Tzitzikostas has already, during his hearings last November in front of the European Parliament, he raised the idea to have a new EU strategy for sustainable tourism. And we have launched this summer a consultation, a targeted consultation on one hand for our close stakeholders. And this targeted consultation, which is in the QR code here, is actually been extended and is open until the 25th of September. So I do invite those of you who have not contributed to have a look, and please complete the parts of the questionnaire that are of interest to you. You don't feel obliged to complete the whole thing. It's rather extensive. But for example, on skills and support for workforce, this will be very, very important for us as we start to analyze the results of the targeted consultation and the public consultation, which was launched in parallel and has now closed. So the adoption of the strategy is foreseen for the spring of next year. So we hope to really have concrete actions and flagships for many of these blocks that are here. Next slide, please. I will wrap up shortly, but I just wanted to bring your attention also to two additional tools that we have in place for all EU stakeholders, all EU tourism stakeholders, in particular SMEs. So first of all, we have the EU Guide on Tourism Funding, which does outline the 17 programs, but you can choose what you're interested in, what calls are open, especially as regards skills. I would encourage you to have a look there too, to see if there are any funding calls that could be interesting for you. And also we have the EU tourism platform now, which is open to everybody interested. It's kind of a Facebook for tourism because it's very interactive. You can find resources, but also post articles, post study results, network with other tourism stakeholders in your region or across Europe. And this we've had in place since about a year now. It also, gives the latest information on our events and where you could join us in talking about not only skills, but the entire transition of the EU tourism ecosystem. So on my last slide, I just wanted to recap. Next slide, Alicia, please. We really consider tourism as crucially important for many regions, also cities, local sites, attractions, but we aim to put in this strategy which really positively impacts the entire European ecosystem, but we need your collaboration. This is the main thing. This is why we've set up the platform. This is why we have many interactions with our stakeholders to ensure that we are addressing the right issues. Now, jobs and skills matter, absolutely. The fact that we have a union of skills now really demonstrates that this is of critical importance for this commission. And of course, the skills and jobs issues and challenges will be addressed in our new strategy. And then please finally contribute to our community, join our community by signing up to the EU tourism platform and also to the targeted consultation on our strategy. We would very much appreciate it. So I thank you so much for your attention and I wish an excellent discussion this morning. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you so much, Elfa. It has been very interesting. Now we open the floor for questions for Elfa. Alicia?
Yeah, there is no questions, but I have myself one question for Elfa. So we are talking about tourism skills, also the young people. So I was wondering, like, if the European Commission is also working on the working conditions in the tourism sectors. If I was wondering just that if the working conditions is one of the barriers as well, why there are so many like I don't know if you mentioned 1 million places free for people to join. I don't know if it's something that you work on as well.
Sure. I mean, working conditions is quite a difficult topic to tackle at EU level, let's say, because it's very much a member state competence. The tourism policy is really to support and help member states coordinate and communicate and financially support as well. But in fact, there will be, I think, a review of working conditions across the transport and tourism sectors, I believe next year. There's starting to be discussions on this. We will, participate as much as we can in that. But indeed, it is something that it's up to social dialogue and the social partners to discuss in their committees. There's a sectoral social dialogue committee on hospitality, for example, which is run by DG Employment, but it brings together the large stakeholders. So HOTREC representing the employers and EFAT representing the employees. So they make a lot of progress there in terms of developing good practices and things like this. But at EU level, it's difficult for us to, we don't legislate on that, of course.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's continue with Veronica Mazza and Luca D'Angelo from Trentino in the Adenau's province of Trento in Italy. Veronica is an employee from the IDO service at the Labour Agency, and Luca is the General Director of the Dolomiti Paganella Tourism Board. Veronica and Luca?
Yes, good morning, everyone. As anticipated, I'm Veronica, and today I will tell you shortly about tourism in Trentino. Okay, can we go to the next? Thank you so much. Trentino is a region that bases much of its economy on tourism. However, this tourism is mainly seasonal. So we have two main periods through the year, the winter season from December to February, and the summer season from June to September. It's during the summer season that we notice greater difficulty in finding workers, as mountain areas are more exposed to competition from the seaside, which is a longer and therefore more attractive season. Several positive areas are working to try to attract staff despite this difficulty, and are doing so by providing alternative services, as the General Director of APT, Paganella, will explain later. However, there are exceptions, such as the Lake Garda area, where tourist activity extends from Easter to early November, with a short restart between December and mid-January. The most popular tourist areas in Trentino include the city of Trento and the famous ski resort as Madonna di Campiglio and Val di Fassa, lakes such as Molveno in Paganella and Lake Garda, and of course the beautiful Dolomites with suggestive valleys such as Val di Non and Val di Sole. This mix of nature, sport, and cultures Trentino an attractive and diversified destination, although is strongly connected to the rhythms of the season. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you so much. I will talk about 2023 because 2024 is in elaboration right now. So in 2023, the job market in the province of Trento showed positive signs with increasing employment and a reduction in the number of inactive people. Compared to the previous 2 years and also to the pre-COVID period, there was an increase in the number of people in employment and a decrease in the number of job seekers. In particular, there were approximately 18,000 people employed in the hotel and restaurant sector. Overall, employment continued to grow, with the number of people in work increasing to its highest level in 5 years. In particular, the service sector grew by 3%. An interesting fact is that the hospitality industry contributed strongly to this growth, more than a third of the increase in the service sector coming from bars and restaurants. In 2023, permanent contracts also grow, but it should be noticed that fixed-term contracts remain prevalent, especially in tourism, where the seasonal nature of work is a determining factor. However, the difficulties in finding skilled workers are increasing. Almost 75% of companies in Trentino say they are looking for new workers, but there is a growing mismatch between the skills required and those available, which risks limiting growth in the future. The tourism sector, which represents a fundamental part of the local economy, requires approximately 33,000 employees, with high demand for qualified workers, particularly in the hotel and restaurant sector. However, 30% of the demand is for unskilled workers, a figure that reflects the nature of tourism in Trentino, which is highly focused on providing excellent customer services. Finally, the growing difficulty in Trentino is in finding qualified staff. That is one of the main complications for companies in Trentino, which often have difficulty to finding candidates with the right skills. This mismatch, particularly in the catering sector, highlights a structural change in the labor market. So we need to adapt the dynamics of supply and demands. Thank you. Every year, the labor agency of the province of Trento promotes the campaign Trentino Tourism is Looking for You, as you can see in the photo. Is an initiative to match job seekers with the job offers in the tourism sector, both for summer and for winter season separately. Anyone interested in working in this field can apply, while tourism operators, such as hotel, restaurants, and bars, can request the staff they need. As the demand for workers surpasses the local supply, the province is also committed to recruiting staff from outside the region through specific projects. The position required include chef, waiters, barman, massage therapist, as well as many other professions. For workers, applying for the campaign offers the opportunity to be included in tourism list, which allows them to be contacted for interviews directly by operator in the sector. For the companies, on the other hand, submitting a request for staff gives them the access to a list of qualified and preselected candidates, including those available to move from other regions. In this way, companies can find the ideal profile for their needs quickly and easily. An example of a successful project is the Paganella pilot project, which will be discussed by Luca D'Angelo, the General Director of APT Paganella.
Yes, thanks, Veronica, and good morning to everybody, and thanks for the invitation. It's actually the first time that we present this pilot project, also in Italy, so in European session, even more important. We'll try to be as short as I can, of course. We've been selected by the labor agency in Trentino, and Trentino Sviluppo is the developer agency, to start this pilot project. And we are a destination in the Alps. Pretty small in terms of geography, but very intense. We have more than 150 hotels here. So tourism, it's really the industry that moves all the economy here. And of course, we have a big demand of labor. We have started also this conversation in 2019 with our community. You can see one of the best results that we achieved is what we call the Charter of Value. I don't have the time to go too much deeper, but just to give you an idea, there was the result of a big laboratory that we did with our community, basically shaping together the future of our destination. And of course, we touch a lot of topic as well, also the seasonality. As you see, we are aspiring to be season-free. So basically, having started this conversation with our community and our hoteliers and our business related to tourism, and so we had the opportunity to start this pilot project with Trentino Sviluppo and the labor agency. And so if you can go to the next slides, please. We create what we call the Job Activation Pact. So it is actually, it is still on, an agreement between the Trentino Labor Agency, Trentino Sviluppo as a developer agency, they're running the campaign, and of course us as a tourist board coordinating all the business. Each of these companies, of course, they have their specific roles. The public sector has of course the goal to invest in resources to attract workers and also to facilitate the matching of supply demand. The private companies, they commit to ensure the best share standards. We discussed this just a few minutes ago, and job quality, and also try to extend as much as possible the contract on the seasonality towards the seasonality. And as a tourist board, also we work with our tourist business, and we still have the chance to offer to workers that are basically employed in this particular tourist business a team card. So it's a card that laborers, they receive once they're here, and the card is full of benefits basically. So discount to the lift, to entrance, to all the experience also that the local community can go, but also the tourists. So it's a way also to helping labor also that coming from different region in Italy or also from abroad to be part of the community. Next, please. And how does it work basically? The pact is a pact. So we selected a small group, not huge group, because we wanted to work just with the hoteliers that were really committed to this work. It's around 20 to 25 hoteliers at the moment that were working together. So they joined the pact. So they signed this job activation pact. So they take basically a commit. This is the entry point to access all the services that the pilot project are trying to deliver. They meet the labor agency, so they find their needs, they open position, and they discuss the hiring priorities with them. The labor agency select candidates, and then of course the business company are independent to select and choose what they feel is the best for them. But it's important that they give feedback also to the labor agency to understand what the needings, what is changing, and also how the market is changing. And once they select the candidate and they welcome the staff, and basically they request the card to us, to the tourist board, to the new employees. So basically the employees can get the access to all the discount. And basically one other big goal of the project is still to grow together, because we're still learning a lot of stuff. It's actually also for us as a tourist board a new space. It's the first time we work on this kind of project, so we're still learning a lot. So going to the last slides. Of course, we've been running a campaign. Sorry, it's just in Italian on the left, but I will try briefly to explain. We, of course, try to push not just on communicating how nice is our place, how nice is our destination, but also trying to push the message that in our destination, we're trying to go on a season-free concept, that you can get a team card, so you can see all the advertising there, and also that we offer a place to stay, food and of course a quality of the worker. We're still learning, as I was saying, and the campaign is still on also for this winter. We know that winter, it's a little bit easier, of course, comparing to summer, where we suffer a little bit, as Veronica was saying, from the seaside, where is a big demand of works. But we know that one of the weaknesses that we still have, considering that our business, especially hoteliers, basically family run, they struggle a little bit to plan in advance and hiring in advance. So that means that they finish the season, they stop, of course, because they need to rest, and then they think what they need for the next season. But we're trying to push them to anticipate basically this. But we remain convinced that to break basically the seasonality, we have to go on a season-free approach. That means there is a big investment destination side to create also opportunities for tourism and for tourist business to stay open, not just in summer, not just in winter, but also very important in autumn and spring as the very important season to push and to spread also tourist flow. So thanks. It was everything from our side, and of course we'll be available for questions in case you need it.
Thanks a lot, Veronica and Luca, for your presentation. Now I'll pass the floor to Inés Iglesias González and Ignacio Sanz Sánchez from the Vocational Education and Training School Felipe VI in Castilla y León, Spain. Inés is the head of the Languages Department and English teacher, and Ignacio is a hospitality and tourism teacher.
Hello, good morning, everyone. We want to present an overview of the tourism situation in the region. Our region, Castilla and León, is one of the largest regions in Europe, covering 94,226 square kilometers, and with a population of less than 2.5 million people. So it's one of the least densely populated regions in Spain. You can see the map here. Next slide, please. Our region has a rich architectural and cultural heritage. There are 3 cities, Avila, Salamanca, and Segovia, that you can see on the photos, that have been declared World Heritage Sites in our region, and also 6 different sites that are World Heritage. Okay, next slide, please. Here you can see some of them, Salamanca, Avila, some of the World Heritage Sites. Next slide, please. The natural heritage in our region is also quite relevant. We have numerous natural spaces. Some examples are the Picos de Europa mountain range and the Guadarrama National Park. Okay, both of them national parks, right? Next slide, please. Regarding the cultural heritage, the history and traditions in our region, we have some important traditions, like, for example, the Holy Week in many of the provinces in the region. Unique archaeological remains from the Roman and medieval times, university tradition, and is the cradle of the Castilian language. And our region is also the birthplace of well-renowned historical figures. Its museum and its rich gastronomy and wine culture are just some of the many tourist attractions of the community. Some examples include St. James's Way, that you probably know, and runs through our region, and the Ribera del Duero, or the banks of the River Duero, which we will mention later in our study case. Next slide, please. Okay, now I pass the floor to my colleague Ignacio. He's going to talk about some data and statistics in the region.
Hello, this is Ignacio speaking. In this part, we are going to talk about data and statistics related to the tourism industry in our region. So, according to the INEC, which means National Institute of Statistics, in Castilla and León is the 5th most visited autonomous community by Spanish tourists. More specifically, the 9 provinces of Castilla and León received more than 70 million of tourists from other regions of Spain. Here in the graph that you can see, it appears it is shown another data like travelers, overnight stay, average stay, and so on. Please, next slide. At the international level, the number of tourists who visit us was 1.35 million, representing an increase of more than 11% compared to 2023. So here on the left-hand side, you have by the province the amount of tourists that we have. Next slide, please. In this part of the presentation, we are going to talk about the infrastructures. The first one, we are going to talk about the accommodation options. There is a wide range of accommodation options covering the entire region, like hostels, apartments, campsites, hotels, rural tourism, short-term rental accommodation. But in this part, we want to focus on the rural tourism. You have the figures about the amount of establishment of each one, but focusing on the rural tourism, we are the leaders in Spain. In Spain, for example, you have the logo de Casa Rural on your screen with 4 stars. We classify from 1 to 4 stars, but also we have the luxury ones, which is we call the Posada Real, is the luxury of the rural tourism. We are the only community in Spain that we have like a luxury classification in rural tourism. Next slide, please. Talking about the infrastructures, bars and restaurants are so important in our country. In our country, that exists more than 250,000 bars and restaurants. In our autonomous community, that exists more than 15,000 bars and restaurants. 13, we have 13 with Michelin star restaurants. And you must know that the gastronomic tourism is the second touristic motivation to come to our region. The first one is cultural, like Ines said before, with the Romans and the medieval period and so on. But the second one is gastronomic. Next slide, please. Right now is the turn to talk about the travel agencies by province, but in a brief way, in a short way. We want to show you that we have more than 400 establishments, but we want to highlight that this is so positive for the outbound and inbound tourism in the region. So 400 establishments is quite a big amount for our region. And this is linked with the next slide, please. Talking about the last part of the infrastructures, we are going to talk about the transportation infrastructure. In our community, we have high-speed rail network we call AVE. Key stations like Valladolid, León, Palencia, and Segovia are very worthy. Air connectivity like airports at Valladolid, León, Salamanca are so important to us. And if you want to come to our region by highway, we have highways like A1, A6, A66 that links Castilla León with Madrid, Portugal, and the north of Spain. In the next slide, please. In the next slide, we are going to talk about the workforce and economical data in our region. In our region, there are more than 106,716 workers in the sector. We want to highlight again that as we mentioned before, in the last year, we got a record with more than 9 million visitors and more than 15 million overnight stays in 2024. Actually, the tourism GDP in Castilla y León stood at 13.5 of the regional GDP in 2024. So it matters. Actually, it matters. The tourism industry is so important in our community. Next slide, please. Being more accurate, the employment in the hospitality sector represents 84,000 total jobs. That means the 7.4% of the regional employment. So it will link the hospitality sector employment with the tourism. So if we do that, it's kind of 13.6 employment from the whole employment in our community. These figures reflect the socioeconomic importance in the sector, which not only contributes to the regional GDP, but also provides a stable employment and professional development opportunities for thousands of people in Castilla y León. Next slide, please. In this part of the presentation, we are going to talk about the main opportunities and challenges in our region. So as you can see in this slide, we have the column with opportunities and the column with challenges. The column with opportunities will link one to another. Castilla y León is an established destination. So the challenge for us is ensure the sustainability of the destination and the commercial success, increasing overnight stays. The second opportunity, we have a better understanding of the 21st century tourist. So the challenge is personalized tourist experiences to address the new needs of industry professionals. Education and training offer is so important to us. Tourists, the third opportunity, tourists are technologically dependent. They use technology during their trips from start to finish. The challenge is they seek personal experience and innovative destination. This last part is linked with the project that we developed in our school. Now, Ines is going to talk a bit about this project. Next slide, please.
Yes, so as part of the educational policies in Castilla y León, the Aula Empresa program, which means a connection between schools and businesses and enterprises, developed an innovative project. Our school focused on creating a chatbot called Viña. And you can see the image of our Viña chatbot here. Viña means vineyard, okay? And this virtual assistant was designed to answer questions to tourists related to the Ribera del Duero region, okay? The river of the banks of the River Duero. Including aspects such as wine, wineries, wine tourism, and the history of the region. So that was aimed to provide a unique experience for tourists. The main objective of the project was to bring students closer to business and technology and the technology world, as I said before, promoting collaborative work, creativity, and the use of digital tools in tourism. The Viña chatbot was trained by our students and teachers with relevant information about the Ribera del Duero and tested in simulated real-life situations, such as customer service in travel agencies or tourism promotion. This project allowed the students to apply their knowledge of communication, marketing, and customer service, while developing digital and entrepreneurial skills. They did a lot of field work to fill the chatbot. Here you can see a poster with the QR code. We invite you to try later. Next slide, please. So this is the QR that you can use later if you want to try. We did a lot of field work to fit the chatbot. You can see here some of the photos of the students. They visited wine therapy treatment establishments. They visited wineries, vineyards, the International Tourism Fair, visits to tourism innovation conferences, basically to fit this tool. Next slide, please. Well, we don't have much time, but here later you can probably see a video of how our chatbot works. And to sum up, we want to emphasize that given that we need to give tourist experiences that they do not have in their usual place of residence, okay? So that's what Castilla y León is aiming at having a distinctive tourist offer tailored to the needs of the tourist, basically. I think I ran out of time, so thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much.
We are open to questions later.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ines and Ignacio, for your presentation. Our next speaker is Michael Gibert, Director of La Fontana Living Lab at EHL Hotel Business School in Lausanne. Also, he is a professor at Università della Svizzera Italiana in Lugano, Switzerland. Michael, please. The floor is yours.
Sorry, thanks a lot. I want to talk to you a little bit about the interface of hospitality and agriculture, really. And if we could have the next slide. This is happening in the context of, excuse me, the canton of Graubünden, Griso, in Switzerland, which, as you can see here, is the easternmost part of Switzerland and is actually also the largest canton in Switzerland and also the least densely populated. So it's a very rural area where, next slide, please, where actually tourism accounts for a whopping third of the overall GDP. The canton doesn't release official agriculture figures, possibly because it's so heavily subsidized that it's difficult to tease them apart. So I have the pleasure of being affiliated with EHL, so that's École Hôtelière de Lausanne, and their campus in Passuk, which is just outside Chur, which is the capital city of the canton. And you can see above here this beautiful old spa hotel, which is located next to the Passuk Mineral Springs. And not far from us is this other place here called Planterhof, which, despite the image, actually goes back also, just like us, about 130 years. And it sort of made sense to me to link the two a little bit. And this is exactly what we've done. So the EHL, which provides training, vocational training, as well as Höhere Fachschule, which is just one step below University of Applied Science training. And so does the Planterhof. So it made sense somehow to put them together. And next slide, please. And in the context of sustainability, essentially, look at the entire value chain here of the two sectors, the two most important sectors in the local economy. And look at the next slide, please. And look at these 4 dots here, so these trigger points, really, that you can see on the upper right-hand corner. So what we thought would be interesting would be to facilitate this value chain discussion, so over different steps of the value chain, by looking at joint problems that somehow connect the supply and the demand side here in agriculture and hospitality. So one thing here is the valorization of the whole animal, so basically nose to tail. And there was a nice example where a young farmer, a lady from Engadin, so that's the easternmost part of Switzerland, beautiful area, decided to have turkeys, to grow turkeys, because she likes turkeys. And when the day came to sell them, she made her rounds of the local, hotels, restaurants, and said, "Hey, do you want to have some regionally produced turkey?" And he said, "Yeah, that's a great idea, but I just want the breast." And so in these student group projects, right, where we have really 50% of the students are from agriculture and 50% from hospitality, it was really great to see these interactions, which really they bonded really quite strongly. So what do we do with the wings? What do we do with the legs, right? Can we create some new dishes, some new exciting dishes, right, that actually put value on these other bits of the animal? Similarly, another topic is seasonal fluctuations and supply and demand, where basically given that we have an alpine region here with very difficult production conditions, often we just don't have enough local produce. So what do you do? We need a different model of marketing, of selling these products on a subscription basis, on a first come, first serve basis, on an auction basis. So again, here we worked with the students on these solutions. Same thing here for the local ingredients in menus. It was interesting to see, if you have an international dish with a local ingredient, people are actually willing to pay for this, to pay more for this than if you have a local dish with local ingredients. So if you have a carbonara, for instance, which would be an Italian style dish from the Rome area, basically, and have the carbonara with local pork fat rather than Italian pork fat. People are actually prepared to pay more for this than if you have a really local dish like capoons, for instance, which are little dumplings, which also contain pork products. And last not least, transactional relationships here. Usually we have this value chain model where it's very supply demand in a purely vertical transaction. So upstream are the producers and downstream are the clients. And here we were thinking together with the students of more horizontal collaborations. So for instance, the cheese manufacturer, cheese supplier of the hotel could actually invite the guests onto the Alp in the summer where the cheese is being produced, and do events there and things like that. And next slide, please. And it was really fun to and magical almost to see this. I don't know if you can see this in the pictures, but it's basically two worlds colliding, two totally different cultures and mindsets of these young people who met for the first time. I enjoy this very much. And we have, for instance, our, the hotelier in their twin sets and all, stylish and high heels and so on. And then we have the farmer guys in their jeans and base caps, and it was just fantastic. But we had fun developing icebreaker sessions, like hotelier is looking for a farmer, almost like in a dating sort of scenario. And and we actually sent our students on excursions like one day on the farm. So they just tootle along with a peer on the farm and just get a better understanding of how it feels like. Voila. So we are continuing this for the next, just another couple of impressions here at your leisure. We are continuing this for the next 3.5 years and received some funding also from the canton to bring the two schools together. Thank you.
Many thanks, Michael, for sharing your experiences. Finally, I'll give
Yeah, I think, Teresa, you mute yourself, but it's fine. You wanted to pass the floor to Marlene and Ariane.
Okay, sorry. Many thanks, Michael, for sharing your experiences. Finally, I'll give the floor to Marlene Mast, Director, and Ariane Jacobs, Communication Officer at Crescendo CBO in Mechelen, Flanders, Belgium.
Thank you. Good morning. We will present a case of our city, Mechelen. Next, please. Mechelen is located in the heart of Flanders, between Brussels and Antwerp. And Mechelen is one of the Flanders' 5 official art cities in Flanders. You see between, it's along Antwerp, Bruges, Ghent, and Leuven. So Mechelen counts approximately 87,000 inhabitants. It's so a small city, but Mechelen has seen steady tourism growth, over 272,000 overnight stays in 2024, contributing to the 3.9 million arrivals across all art cities in our country. Mechelen is known for its walkable heritage center, most attractiveness. Everything is between walking distance. You have cultural events and inclusive tourism initiatives. Mechelen is also known as Flanders' church city, as we had 8 historical churches of exceptional architectural and cultural value. Public support is strong. 79% of Mechelen residents view tourism as a very positive thing and recognize the local benefits. Next, please. The city of Mechelen presents itself as city, as Mechelen upside down, a place that will surprise you, move you, and turn your expectations completely around. Next, please. Mechelen tells its story through different layers. The main narrative is the Burgundian Renaissance. Mechelen's position itself as the heart of its cultural area in Flanders. It's a compact, warm city full of history, stunning palaces, towers, and a powerful story of female leadership. Next, please. And finally, the sporting narratives. Mechelen offers space to breathe, authenticity, and a warm welcome. These qualities enrich the main story and appeal to the region and the domestic visitors. The key challenges of Mechelen, next please, has its main strengths, but we also face some key challenges as a tourist destination. Mechelen wants to shift from being a mini city trip to an international must visit for anyone interested in the Burgundian story of Flanders, not just as a destination, but as a gateway to a broader Flemish experience. First, there's the seasonality. Tourism peaks during weekends and holidays, which makes it hard to maintain a steady supply of skilled staff. Then there's a skills mismatch, especially in the smaller businesses. There's a growing need for language skills, intercultural communication, and digital know-how. Recruitment and retention are difficult too. Many jobs are part-time or seasonal, which makes long-term career development in tourism less attractive. We also see a high number of day visitors, but not enough of a stays night. That's true for leisure tourism, but also for business events. Most events and conferences are non-residential and organized by domestic groups. But we're still relatively unknown internationally. Without major cultural events and outstanding experiences, it's hard to get noticed by global audiences. And finally, we tend to have heavily in hospitality and reception, while tourism is much more than that. It's also about storytelling, experiences, design, and building a strong identity. Next, please. Despite the challenges, Mechelen has some exciting opportunities to build on, we think. Next, please. First, there's a growing demand for local guides and cultural ambassadors, people who can bring their stories to life and connect with visitors in a personal way. At the same time, there's a strong investment in tourism that's both sustainable and inclusive. Our unique angel, the city of Mechelen, highlights the Flemish Renaissance as a central theme, something that really sets us apart. And we're fully aligned with global trends for female empowerment and diversity, to the rise of hybrid meetings, better mobility, and bike-friendly city. Plus, there are EU recovery funds available to support innovation in tourism, so the time to act is right now. Next, please. So our school, Crescendo CVO in Mechelen, we want to share a good practice, how we are collaborating with the city of Mechelen. We would like to share a great example of how adult education and city strategy can reinforce each other. Crescendo CVO and the city of Mechelen have a strong and a long life standing collaboration, and together we go for two keynotes: the rising demand for local guides and cultural ambassadors, and the opportunity to build on Mechelen's unique themes, the Flemish Renaissance. Based on these needs, we developed several practical oriented tourism trainings for adults. First, we launched the Ambassador of Mechelen program, where students learn more than the things or the facts about city history, architecture, hidden stories, guided by experts and guest speakers, and they go out in the field, namely in the city. So we make from the city our classroom. Next, please. And then Ariane will continue.
Yes, I would like to relate our program of the Ambassador of Mechelen to a broader movement in Flanders, and that's actually the Ambassador program where Flanders focuses on local ambassadors. These are residents of the city, entrepreneurs, volunteers, because they can play a powerful and important role in promoting the destination. And so it's not always about big campaigns or major attractions. Even in smaller cities and local initiatives, they can benefit when you have a good ambassador, somebody who is proud of his city and can talk about authenticity about the city. And this is actually something that tourism sector in Flanders encourages a lot. It wants a bottom-up approach where you trust people, you trust their knowledge, their passion, and you use the local community to tell these stories. So the key in this story is to connect, inform, and involve, and also give some space to grow, because when people feel valued, connected, well, they become the best storytellers of their city. So yes, next slide, please. I would like to tell a little bit more about our program, the City Ambassador of Mechelen. It's made out of 2 courses or 2 modules. The first module focuses on heritage, so it explores Mechelen past and it sees how the city is shaped today. So it has a strong historical line and we look at cultural themes such as the Burgundian Renaissance. Next slide, please. And the second course or the second module, it looks at the present of the city and it looked at how Mechelen was shaped, how it is today, and how it became what it is. So in this case, we're connecting nature, art, history, and community. And together, both these modules make you an ambassador of Mechelen. But these modules, they also reflect what Marleen told you about the city storytelling strategy. They had one main narrative about the Burgundian Renaissance, and then they add niche strategies, niche stories about craftsmanship, and they also look at the local environment. So the best part of these 2 modules is that we go outside, we explore, we learn on location, and sometimes this is referred to the concept of nomadic learning. So we move through the city. And Mechelen is actually the ideal setting because it has a compact layout, a walkable heritage center, and a very rich culture. Next slide, please. So our goal is not just to train people to make nice stories, we really want them to become ambassadors of the city. Next slide, please. We also have a program for people who want to take it a step further, and we offer a city guide training in partnership with the city of Mechelen, Visit Mechelen, who is the tourist information, and the city guides of Mechelen. So in this training, it's a really professional program where you have both the practical skills of teaching and the local storytelling. When you complete this course, you get an official certificate and you can even start working in the local guide association. So this is really for people who are passionate about cities, stories, and guiding people. Next slide, please. So we also stay alert for new trends. For example, we created a course which is called The History or the Story of Mechelen. And it's actually inspired by a TV show, a popular TV show in Flanders, which tells the story of Flanders. So in 11 lessons, the students travel through time and they discover Mechelen from prehistory to the 21st century through the eyes of people who shaped the city. Next slide, please. And after the first year, this resulted in a beautiful exhibition. So the students from the tourist department, they made stories about people in the past. The photography department of our school, they made beautiful historical portraits in the studio. And then the city library engaged itself to launch the exhibition. Next slide, please. So we had a beautiful exhibition in the city library, and after this, the exhibition traveled through the city in collaboration with Visit Mechelen. Next, please. And another initiative is the Living Library, where you don't loan a book, but you loan a story from a living person. And this was also the result of 1 year of students collaborating, getting to know the city, meet people and organizations, and then they share their personal stories. And the nice thing about this is that it's really open to public and we try to engage the community. So it's very accessible and people who coincidentally come by, they can just have a living story for them. Next slide, please. So how do we make all of these things work? Well, we have modular learning. We have flexible courses. It's not just about teaching the skills, but it's to have a deep connection with the city. And like Marleen already said, we use the city as our classroom. We go outside. That's the concept from where we start. And for example, when we look at our students, Janine is an a woman who have always lived in Mechelen, but she said that thanks to the course, she rediscovered places. Ronnie, another student, says that the idea to have the city as a classroom is really amazing. So next slide, please. So what is next? We really want to strengthen our collaboration with this city. For example, having our ambassadors welcoming newcomers in Mechelen. But we also explore an international greeters network and see if Mechelen can join to this. Thank you very much. This was the case of Mechelen and Crescendo CVO.
Thanks a lot, Marlene Arian, for your presentation. Let's open the floor for questions to all of the speakers of today's webinar.
Yeah, there is no questions in the chat, but I would like to thank all the regional speakers and also Elsa, because we have a great panorama with good practices, and I'm sure that all of you have learned from each presentation with the different cases and giving new ideas, maybe of what you can also implement with this, for instance, ambassador in Mechelen. I found it like a really nice initiative that can be even replicated in other regions and cities. I'm thinking about Castilla y León as well. So yeah, I don't know if someone has questions. Okay. Otherwise, we can start.
I have actually a question, Alicia, if I can.
Sure.
And my question is for Luca and or Veronica from Italy. Because one of the big issues recruiting workers in Paganella is the cost of the accommodation. And I wanted to ask if there are some agreements with local people, with inhabitants, in order to let these people to get an accommodation with not so high costs.
Shall I go, Veronica? Okay. Oh, thanks for the question. This is a huge issue, of course. I think all the successful tourist destinations are suffering now of this rising prices, basically for accommodation, for housing, basically. There is a huge discussion around the destination, but honestly, at the moment, we haven't found a solution. We know that some of the hoteliers are thinking now to, and they have apartments, and some of them are not basically positioning the apartments in the tourist market. So they're using basically these apartments, also renovating for the staff, for the laborers. So there is something going on, but I won't say that we have solved the problem. It's a long journey, and of course we have to balance the market, so the tourist demand, also the tourist demand on apartments. This is growing, but also with balancing with the quality of the life of the people that are working and living here as well. This is a problem not only for workers, it's a problem also for the new generation, for example, people that are living here or people that they want to move here to work in the hospitality sector, but even in other sector. So it's a big discussion. Something is moving. We have some nice example, but still few. We need more.
Thank you.
Anyone else who wants to raise a point? I see John, maybe.
Yeah, if I can come in, please. Yeah, John Fitzgibbon from Nextdoor, so Sustainable Tourism Regions in Europe. My question really is for Mechelen. Really interested in your case study there, and I wanted to know how the sort of the local ambassadors. You didn't give any sort of indication of numbers and sort of the uptake and how that's progressing. I mean, how successful is it being? What's the sort of the reach that you're achieving with the program? Because it sounds like an excellent idea.
Yeah, we just do it slowly to make a kind of a network. So we start every year with for the ambassadors with one group of 20 people, because we do it in an interactive way. 20 people for first module, which Ariane presents about the history, to see what is Mechelen now from historical point of view. And then we go with the other module. We go from bottom up, so top down. In the other side, so the second group, which had presented my colleague, even counts 20 students, and we blocked it there, so we have a long waiting list. So it means you see it from how Mechelen is now and why it became like that. So it goes down to down to in history, and the other one goes up, so it's a match. So what we are creating even is with the 40 people every year, we make a kind of a network. So we have even a second year where everybody who did the course can enroll again, and they meet every month in a spot in Mechelen. And as an ambassador, we are creating really kind of a network between them. So we are the guides or the initiative to put the people together. And the aim is to every year to create more and more and more ambassadors to receive even people, but not as a tourist guide. So it's really amazing, and it's a small city, so people are really waiting to enroll, because we can create even more groups, but or make the audience bigger. But then we think from pedagogical sides, it's not that good. So we have the course very interactive, as we are not doing it in the school, but outside. So with a group of 20 people, they have to present and collaborate and to make a kind of storytelling. So it's even our example is even took by the Flandrian tourism office, and they want to enroll it even in other cities in Flanders.
Perhaps I can add that the impact is very big, because during the course, the teacher gets new ideas, students ask for extra courses, they want to get training in architecture or whatever. So it's really demand and supply, and we can continue, and it's every year it's becoming not really bigger. Like Marlene said, we go for a steady growth, but things come by and we can enlarge and go deeper, and the city is really moving. That's also a nice thing. Mechelen is growing, and there are every year so many opportunities to put them back in the course.
Okay, and then just on the sort of the funding aspect of it, is it something where, I mean, you talked about them being volunteers, so you're not actually, are you actually paying these ambassadors, or is it you're just relying on their goodwill, their interest, their commitment to the city? How does that side of it shape up?
Yeah, the students, for us, as we are an official school from depending on the Flemish Department of Education, so people enroll to follow the course by us, of course. Once they are an ambassador, it's really they are really volunteers to do this. It's really completely, but it can even really be informal. I mean, if you see struggling a person in the city by searching something, I don't know, on a map or on the phone, they can help people or they say, yeah, we'll go with you there or there. So this is really the small example, but there are even bigger examples to say, yeah, my friends are coming, I don't know from where, from Spain or from Italy, and then I will give a small tour and to show things which I never saw in my own city, even living there for I don't know, for 30 years, for example. So the small beautiful things, we are really training our students even to look, really, because people, they are not really looking with their eyes and in every point of view. So it's very important to see a building and to see what are you seeing, how it is constructed, and what you see, and so on and so on. So it's And then in front of because first the official guides they were a bit worried about it will be kind of kind of attack from they are attacking our jobs because the official guides are paid by the commune, but it's completely different. It's completely different point of view and a different so I don't know if it's enough. Approach.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Ines and Ignacio, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, actually, I think that you mentioned it at the end of your answer now, Marlene. I was going to ask you if there was some kind of competition, if you know what I mean by that, between tourist guides and the labor market and these ambassadors, because we couldn't really do this in Spain, I don't think. There would be some kind of competition in the labor markets with these kind of ambassadors and the tourist guides jobs.
Indeed, it's right. We even talked a lot, struggled a lot with these kind of things, and we really prepared it even with the commune, with the alderman of tourism. We speak a lot with them, even with the director of the tourist guide office in Mechelen, because she was really scared, as you mentioned. They were scared about their position, but anyway, it's not a protected thing here. If you want to have in Mechelen, there is a tourist guide, an official one. You have to go by. There is only one association, so you have to go there to book a guide for a tour and so on. So they were really thinking, but if I put myself in the central market with my umbrella to say, guides for free, as we see even in other cities, it's allowed. It's not prohibited. So there was even a lady which I know here. She is doing tours by bike in the city, so visiting, renting bikes and go around. So also this we have, but we really cleared out the ambassador is somebody else. It can be a new habitant of Mechelen who don't know anything about it and can to learn the everything, every aspect of the city. But it can be even a person who is living already, as I said, 30 or 40 years in the city and maybe passed every day 5 times in a place, but never saw the details or the spots or the hidden things. We try to even to go inside in buildings where there are private houses and so on to open really the city and but it's right. It was quite a difficult, but now we are. They are convinced it works, and it's very nice to see the whole community who is growing and growing. So.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Marlene.
And I'm happy to say that EARLALL general meeting that is happening from the 5 to 7 of November, it will be hosted actually in the Mechelen city, and it's Marlene and her team and Go, our associate member, who are taking care of organizing everything. So those who are members of EARLALL will have the opportunity to visit and experience all the nice things that Arlene and Ariane have tell in this webinar. So we are really happy that you are hosting us.
Thanks a lot.
I think we can wrap up, Teresa. I will just show the last slide, so you know what is happening next. This one. So I will just say, and then I pass you the floor back to Teresa. So our next webinar, because this is a series of sectoral skills webinar that each session we explore one sector. So thank you so much to all the tourism experts that joined today. And the next session, we will explore a bit the applied arts and craftsmanship sector skills, a topic that was proposed by Centre Val de Loire in France. So we will organize this around December. Now I pass the floor to Teresa, who will close the webinar.
So thank you so much to all the speakers. We truly appreciate the time and expertise each of you share with us. And let's see it in another activity, in the next activity. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Goodbye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.